And our response to these latest tariffs is to fight, is to protect, and to build. We will fight.
The conservative that's running is stupidly no friend of mine. I don't know him, but he said negative things. So when he says negative things, I couldn't care less. I think it's easier to deal, actually, with a liberal.
Prime Minister Mark Carney's recent address has done more than just respond to a trade dispute. It has performed a historical reckoning, marking a definitive and irreversible break from the core tenets that have guided Canada's foreign policy for generations. Welcome viewers to my channel. If you're new here, please subscribe, like my video, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next update. The era of Canada.
We will fight the U.S. tariffs with retaliatory trade actions of our own that will have maximum impact in the United States.
Prime Minister Mark Carney's recent address has done more than just respond to a trade dispute. It has performed a historical reckoning, marking a definitive and irreversible break from the core tenets that have guided Canada's foreign policy for generations. Welcome viewers to my channel. If you're new here, please subscribe, like my video, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next update. The era of Canada as a junior partner in a North American triumvirate, closely aligned with the United States in a relationship of deepening integration, is officially over. Carney's declaration that the old relationship is over is a landmark statement, a candid admission that the fundamental assumptions of shared interests and mutual cooperation have been irrevocably shattered. This profound shift is a direct result of the unpredictable and often hostile policies of the Trump administration, which has effectively weaponized trade and diplomacy. The U.S., once viewed as an unwavering ally and economic partner, is now explicitly identified as a source of significant risk, forcing Canada to reimagine its place in the world. This is a particularly sensitive issue, given that the Canadian economy is deeply intertwined with that of its southern neighbor, with over 75% of Canada's exports destined for the U.S. market. This makes the nation's economic health acutely vulnerable to American policy changes, a vulnerability that Carney is now determined to address head-on. This new reality has triggered a comprehensive and urgent reevaluation of Canada's national strategy, a project that is both economic and existential. Carney's call to dramatically reduce our reliance on the United States is a clear and unambiguous directive for a massive, multi-decade project to reorient Canada's economic and trade policies. This ambitious undertaking will require not just finding new markets for Canadian goods, but a fundamental rethinking of domestic industrial policy to build a more resilient and independent economy. The project is nothing short of a generational challenge, demanding that Canada develop new supply chains, foster new industries, and strengthen existing ones to lessen its dependence on the U.S. In a highly symbolic and strategic move, the Prime Minister's first international trip was not to Washington, D.C., but to France and the United Kingdom, signaling Canada's intent to reinforce alliances with traditional partners who share a commitment to a stable, rules-based international order. This diplomatic pivot is the crucial first step in a broader strategy to expand Canada's global footprint and lessen its economic dependence on the U.S., diversifying its economic ties with Europe and other key regions. The government is already committed to a strategy of diversifying exports and has announced measures to support trade-enabling infrastructure, recognizing that to export to new markets, Canada needs to invest in its own ports and transportation networks. This proactive approach underscores a shift from a reactive stance to a forward-looking, strategic vision for national economic security. The government is also engaging with other international partners, such as the European Union, on a new strategic partnership for the future, aiming to strengthen cooperation on a wide range of issues from trade and economic security to defense and climate change. The economic gauntlet, tariffs, retaliation, and the battle for sovereignty. The immediate driver of this crisis is the relentless economic aggression from the Trump administration. President Trump's threats of large-scale tariffs have created an environment of significant uncertainty and anxiety for Canadian businesses. The most impactful of these actions is the 25% tariff on all cars and car parts shipped to the U.S. This measure is a direct assault on Canada's crucial automotive industry, which employs thousands of Canadians and is a cornerstone of the nation's economy. The intricate nature of the North American auto supply chain means this tariff could cause widespread disruptions, as components often cross the border multiple times before a final product is assembled. By labeling this a violation of the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA, Carney is not just engaging in rhetoric. He is laying the groundwork for a potential legal and diplomatic challenge, demonstrating that Canada will not accept these tariffs without a fight. The specific sectors identified by Carney's government as being in the crosshairs – automotive, lumber, steel, and aluminum, semiconductors, and pharmaceuticals – highlight the extensive nature of the threat and the need for a multifaceted response. The government's proactive identification of these sectors shows a level of preparedness that acknowledges the strategic nature of the U.S. tariff threats, which are designed to hit Canada's economic nerve centers. In response, Prime Minister Carney has promised a robust strategy of retaliatory trade actions. This is a carefully considered, not impulsive, decision. The Canadian government is preparing for a proactive and surgical response, ensuring that Canada's countermeasures are both effective and strategically focused. The decision to delay the announcement of specific actions until after Trump's April 2nd statement is a masterstroke of diplomatic strategy. It maintains an element of surprise, provides leverage, and shows a united front with Mexico, whose President Claudia Sheinbaum has taken a similar wait-and-see approach. This coordinated response is a powerful signal that the U.S. cannot easily divide and conquer its North American trading partners. Furthermore, Carney's pledge that nothing is off the table to defend our workers and our country underscores the seriousness of the situation, indicating that Canada is prepared to escalate its response if necessary. This firmness is a departure from previous Canadian approaches, which often prioritized maintaining a good relationship with the U.S. above all else. This shift reflects a new willingness to stand firm on principle, even if it carries significant economic costs. The Canadian government's retaliatory tariffs have already had some effect, leading to a slight decrease in the sale of U.S.-built light vehicles in Canada, according to industry analysts. However, this is just the beginning, and the long-term impacts of these actions are still to be seen. A new path forward, national resilience, and assertive diplomacy. Beyond the immediate trade dispute, Canada is charting a new course defined by national resilience and a more assertive form of diplomacy. Carney's statements, such as his rejection of any attempt to weaken Canada, to wear us down, to break us so that America can own us, are designed to rally the Canadian public and send a clear message to Washington. This is not merely a trade spat. It is a battle for Canadian economic sovereignty and national pride. To mitigate the economic impact on its citizens, the Carney administration is already implementing domestic policies to support affected workers and businesses. This includes targeted aid for industries facing tariffs and a broader effort to strengthen the Canadian economy from within, making it less susceptible to external pressures. These measures are critical to ensuring that Canada can withstand the economic storm without succumbing to American demands. This is also reflected in the government's focus on supporting small and medium-sized businesses, SMEs, to diversify their exports, recognizing that a more resilient economy must be built from the ground up. Despite the firm rhetoric, Carney is not completely closing the door on dialogue. He confirmed that a phone call with President Trump is expected and that members of his cabinet may travel to Washington. This demonstrates Canada's two-track strategy, preparing for the worst while hoping for a diplomatic resolution. The goal is to de-escalate tensions and seek a negotiated settlement, but under a new framework that reflects the changed dynamics of the relationship. This new Canadian foreign policy is a delicate balancing act, asserting national interests forcefully while maintaining open lines of communication. The era of passive, unquestioning cooperation is over, replaced by a new era of proactive, resilient, and independent action. The Canadian government is emphasizing the need for unity and a long-term vision, encouraging businesses and individuals to prioritize and leverage Canadian expertise to build domestic strength and reduce dependence on vulnerable